Yes, viewers, you are welcome to YangaLife channel, and today we are going to look into the all-important issue of a fresh case that was filed in the Supreme Court against the President of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, by Atiku concerning the certificate forgery. Yes, I don't know, there is problem here. The problem is it that the Supreme Court is going to plead for Nigerians to forgive the president, or is it that they are going to find a way to, use technicalities and sustain that? But if that is being sustained, it means that, Nigerians are now free to forge their certificates or any documents towards that. So from the look of things now, it seems that there is checkmate here. There is checkmate, and we don't know how this thing is going to turn out. But before that, I want you to listen to this particular clip, and after that we will come back and continue. But after listening to it, remember to tell us what you think about the ongoing interesting event that is happening in the country now. So I am still your presenter, Chinedu.
Many people do not understand how all of this Tinubu's forgery, this forgery saga that is going on, how it is going to destroy every fabric of our society. And I will just tell you in a bit. So someone did a tweet on Twitter, yeah? And then in this tweet, he was asking a question. And the police on forgery, if you forged something, and a police spokesperson came out and responded to the tweet. I think they said about 45 minutes later, he deleted the tweet. Let me just read it out to you. So this guy on Twitter, he's got hashtag our favorite online Dr. Olufunmilayo. So he did a tweet and said, quick question for the police NG. He tagged the Nigerian police Twitter handle, that's X handle. And his question goes like this. If I used to live in Abuja and bought a Mercedes SUV at the Mercedes dealership in Abuja, then I moved to Port Harcourt some weeks later, then found out that I have lost the car receipt and I don't know anymore where all the original car papers are. If I now go to Oshodi under bridge and tell a vendor to sharply forge some Mercedes documents for me to replace the one I lost, at least I'm the one that bought the car. That's what he said. And I make sure I tell the vendor to cook the documents to my taste. If one day I run into police at a checkpoint and they suspect my car documents are dubious and not the original one issued by the Mercedes car seller, do the police have any right to interrogate me or arrest me for any crime? Please kindly help me repost till I get a response from the police NG. Then he now goes on to say that Dr. Olufunmilayo, right? He said if the police NG now calls Mercedes dealership in Abuja to verify the document I have presented to the police, but the Mercedes dealership disowns the document and says they did not issue it, does the police have the right to still question me further? Then he said, especially if I have already told the police that considering my influence on social media, any question on my original car documents will certainly do me irreparable damage. Please, will it be right for the police NG to still be asking any question? So, he put that out there. Then, of course, what would happen, there was a response from, let me just get the response now. So, from DSP Bright Dafe, who is the public police relation officer of Delta State. So he says, does this question make any sense to you at all? You forge a document and you are here asking questions. Google forgery on criminal code or penal code and the definition and punishment. About 45 minutes later, tweet is deleted. I'm sure when they probably, maybe there's a call somewhere to say, oh yeah, maybe call from the top. So there are different things that people are saying on this one, right? That some people say that maybe he actually knew, but he deliberately put it out. That there are some officers, of course, that will be frustrated about what is going on and everything. But it looks as if, he didn't, either probably didn't look at the whole thing, because that is exactly the same thing with what's going on with Bola Ahmed Adekunle Tinubu from birth to birth. Hey, what Tinubu cannot change does not exist. That's just the question about it. Does not exist. So, but honestly, on a more serious scale, because this is really serious. This is how every societal value, the little we have remaining, every fabric of institution is going to be destroyed. Of course, the answer he gave, that was the right answer. I mean, are you okay? How do you say that because you lost document to your car that even though you bought it, then you now go and forge, you now go and meet somebody, a printer, to design something from you and say that's the document. When they now go to the people that originally sold it to you, the workshop, of course they're going to say, no, that's not their document, because indeed it's not their document. That will be forgery. It doesn't matter whether you were the one that bought it. It doesn't matter whether it's your money. The whole thing is that the document got missing, and then you decided to now create your own document. You can't create your own document. When you create your own document, you are actually forging the document, because it is no longer what came from the original people who had actually submitted the document, whether it's an institution, whether it's shop or whatever. And the answer that the police man gave the people was, right, asking, are you okay? Forgery is forgery. Go and check. There's a crime. Forgery is a crime, whether it's under the penal code or what's the other thing? I know we have two code. Is it in Nigeria? Whether it's the criminal code or the penal code, it is still forgery. And he gave that answer. But guess what? Even though the answer is right, even though that's what it's supposed to be, he was forced to delete it, because it is in reference to the forgery allegation against the president that has turned out to be forgery. It's even an allegation. We still call it allegation because the court has not, but the owners of that document, original document, have said that other document did not emanate from them. It's not from them. So it's forgery, because those people have denied the author of that person. And if you remember also, I think it was, if I can quickly find that here, I know I've done a video on that already, where Festus Keyamo, we talk about forgery. I have it here quickly. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Festus Keyamo, in 2019, 15th of April 2019 to be precise, where he said, forgery occurs when the supposed author of a document denies ever making it or denies its authenticity. He was talking about WAEC then. WAEC has confirmed the authenticity of PMB's certificate by issuing an attestation of a case closed. In Osun case scenario, WAEC has denied the authenticity. See the difference? So, yeah, we are seeing the difference now, actually, because Chicago State University has denied the authenticity of whatever it is that Bola Ahmed Adekunle Tinubu has provided. And you saw, what happened in terms of I'll put that in the link. I'll put that in the comment, comment section, description section. I'll put that link there. I've done a video where you see where they went to edit his bio on Wikipedia to add the Adekunle to it. After the revelation that Adekunle had been added, it's there in part of his NYC certificate. But how this is just the beginning, and how these institutions will be destroyed. What is the law will now be changed. The truth will now be changed. Everything will be changed to fit the narrative of someone who has forged a document, because he's now occupying illegally, fraudulently occupying the office of the president. And to what extent is that destruction going to go on? It's going to happen to the police, the military, every institution, legal, everything that needs that would happen, that can be destroyed, will be destroyed. And we wake up one day, we don't even know what kind of society we have. Because if you've done one thing for one person, then another person is going to use advantage of that. So a policeman who says forgery is a crime, had to quickly delete that, because the person who is sitting as the number one political citizen is immersed in a forgery case. We can't allow this to happen in Nigeria, honestly. No. Enough is enough. This is not Nigeria.
Yes, you have heard that from Aisha Yusuf, and from the look of things, you agree with me that there is problem. So if the government, if the Supreme Court did not handle that matter in a very professional way, there will be problem in the future. Problem in the sense that such, decisions will be cited in future. So we await and see what happens in the Supreme Court, and ours is to give you updates about the event of things. Yes, I want to still add to this another discussion from Arise Television. It is quite interesting. I said that Rufai is very wicked on votes. So that brings out the fact that you are a media person. Defending somebody does not mean that you should not answer the question from the person's past. So when next you are, faced with the job of defending somebody, it is still your responsibility to dig into the person's past, so that you know how to handle your job properly and you know the price that you are going to be charging. That is very important. So I want you to listen to this Arise News interview, so that you understand what we are saying. It is in line with our discussion about handling this matter in the Supreme Court, that if the Supreme Court is not careful about this matter, there will be problem. So let's hear this. When we come back, we will continue. Thank you.
Welcome back to the morning show right here on the Rise News channel. The All Progressive Congress APC has berated former Vice President Atiku Awka over some of the utterances he made last week at the World Press Conference over President Bola Tinubu's certificate saga. In a statement last week, Thursday, the APC said the press conference lacked purpose and delivered nothing except the pitiful regurgitation of lies, mindless distortions, and deliberate falsehood, and the infantile obsession with the academic record of Bola Tinubu and President and Commander-in-Chief of Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. However, the former Vice President and presidential candidate in the 2023 election says he will not back down from the Supreme Court until the Supreme Court delivers its final judgment in the case. So joining us now is Michael Achimogu, Senior Media Assistant to Aviation Minister Festus Keyamo, to talk about these things, SAM. Michael Achimogu, just for full disclosure, you were the one that released an audio recording with a conversation you had with former Vice President Atiku Abubakar leading up to the election. So I see that you're working for Festus Keyamo now. So, what's your reaction to all of this matter?
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, sir. Yeah.
It's nice to speak with you.
Bless you.
Yes. For disclosure, yes, I was the author of the Atiku Gate saga. I was a former media aide to the former vice president. And yes, I now work with Festus Keyamo in the capacity that you have announced. I have always looked at this Chicago State University thing from just two perspectives. The first is that the only authority that can verify the president's studentship and graduation from that institution is CSU itself and nobody else. I want to believe that that is why the journalists and the former vice president himself wrote to the school, because only they can tell, And the second perspective is what is the scope of the petition before the Supreme Court now? How will the Supreme Court interpret what is the evidence before them? You see, in these two scenarios, public opinion doesn't really matter much. And that is why, as an individual, I haven't really said much about it, because if you recall, the judge in the US did mention, that they have received emails from Nigeria, but reiterated that rulings and judgments will not be based, on public opinion. And the Chief Justice of Nigeria also said the same thing as well. So from those perspectives, I don't really have much of a personal opinion, because the courts will have to decide. Now, my only problem in all of these issues is that it is a man who does not have the moral high ground that is chasing after the president. And I am even more shocked by the persons who now come out to support and help Atiku Abubakar, in trying to get at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Because nobody can convince, there's no logic that makes it okay if you say you are anti-corruption and then you are helping a man like Atiku Abubakar, the same Atiku that I know. Look, on what basis would anybody be helping Atiku Abubakar? If you say that you are writing the FBI to give you, information about Tinubu, do you forget that Atiku also has a file with the FBI? If you talk about the fact that Tinubu had an account, a bank account flagged in the US, do you also forget that Atiku also had bank account with even much more money flagged in the US as well? So on what basis will anybody come out to say we are working with Atiku to arrive at this thing? So suddenly Atiku's antecedents and corruption does not matter anymore?
Mr. Chimugu, thank you. So I don't know, maybe you'd like to clarify who said they were working with Atiku, if this was everything around this certificate saga is around working with Atiku, Abubakar Atiku. It'd be interesting to find out, because that's not the issue. You're deviating from the main substance of the issue, which is there a case of forgery, which now the Atiku camp has filed a case before the Supreme Court. So is that what you're here to speak about? The case before the Supreme Court, which, we cannot talk about the details. You can't
say I'm deviating. The question was my thoughts about all of these issues. That's the question thrown at me. Yeah, and so these are my thoughts about the issue.
All right, so the issue is about the certificate, right? So you've established your views on the person of Atiku Abubakar, and it's important to be careful as well, because we don't want to, get into trouble for libel or if you make a slanderous statement. But what's your take in terms of the way forward? So it's before the Supreme Court. What's the process? I'm sure you understand the processes of the court. We cannot deliberate on the matter itself. So I would like to get your thoughts.
I have stated clearly that I have just two perspectives. The school has come out to say this person attended our school and graduated from our school. The next step is the Supreme Court, of which I am not a justice or a member or even a lawyer. So we wait for what the Supreme Court has to say about that. It is not my duty to preempt the court.
Okay, Achimugu, I admire your capacity for self-reinvention. The other time you were on this program, you were attacking Waziri Atiku Abubakar, and now somehow you've landed a good job with the Minister of Aviation, and you are now, defending the APC. Good effort at self-reinvention, typically Nigerian. But, don't as you have said, let's allow the Supreme Court to do its work. But I'd like to draw your attention to something that Paul Ibe, media advisor to Waziri Atiku Abubakar, and Frank Shaibu, also, media advisor to the PDP presidential candidate. They're saying that there has been a quick attempt to amend President Tinubu's Wikipedia page to align with his NYSC certificate, which is one of the issues that the PDP camp is raising. And this is with regard to the fact that in his NYSC certificate, the area is Adekunle. But we've always known him as Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, on his Wikipedia page, we now have Bola Ahmed Adekunle Tinubu. How did this come about? Is it some mischief makers adding Adekunle to the name? Or, how did that come about? Because that happened in less than 24 hours after an issue was raised about his NYC certificate. Do you have any information in that regard?
I have never viewed the president's Wikipedia page, so I wouldn't know what's going on there. But Dr. Abati, to make a quick correction, I have never been on your program before. When the Atiku Gate saga was going on, this channel never gave me an opportunity a right of reply. You gave your platform to people to come and defame my character. I have never been on your channel before.
Okay. But could you address the issue about name? I didn't say you manage the president's Wikipedia page. Do you have any information about, this controversy about whether it's also an Adekunle in addition to Ahmed? Because that's one issue that the PDP camp, is making in the papers today.
Like I said, I have no information about that. I've also been told by tech people that Wikipedia pages can be edited by a number of persons. Does not mean that the president himself has ordered any such thing. But I also remember that in the case of in 2019 at the Supreme Court of between President Muhammadu Buhari and Atiku Abubakar, that when the issue of discrepancy in name between Muhammad and Muhammadu came up, the Supreme Court did leave some precedents in that regard. So like I said, I do not have enough information to be an authority, with regards to drawing conclusions about this matter. And it's a case that's in court. Yourself last week, Dr. Abati did say a number of things, and you ended up by educating the rest of Nigeria that nothing is going to happen at the end of the day because there are no smoking guns from the case in Chicago. In any case, from a very personal perspective, and general too, if you will, Atiku Abubakar did not win the election. What's he even doing in court? Okay.
He's in court because he has a right to go to court like any other citizen of the country. And concerning that allusion last week to what Dr. Abati said, it is based on what came out of the deposition that Atiku is now in court. So the analogy of no smoking gun, obviously, the deposition has overruled all of that. The full text, certified text.
No, he said that.
Hang on a minute. Let me finish.
The deposition came out.
Hang on a minute.
That was his analysis.
Hang on a minute. Let me finish. But the certified copy of the deposition, the full copy, was not out when he said that. The full copy of the deposition has overruled that. I'm giving you facts. Go and verify. Your boss, Festus Keyamo, said these words on the 15th of April 2019. Forgery occurs when the supposed author of a document denies ever making it or denies its authenticity. WAEC has confirmed the authenticity of PMB certificate by issuing an attestation of it. Case closed. In hashtag Oshun case scenario, WAEC has denied the authenticity. See the difference. Did your boss make that statement, and would you still stand back with that statement based on what is happening? Because what your boss, Keyamo, was saying here is that when the supposed author of the document denies ever making the document, that's when forgery occurs, according to your boss's definition. Do you stand by that?
I was not a media aide. I was not a media aide to the aviation minister in 2019.
But you speak for him. Now, I'm just asking you, based on the tweet, do you stand by that statement, your boss? Because Twitter doesn't lie. Internet has records. That's the record out there for you. Do you stand by that statement? Your boss tweeted it as an idea out there. You speak for him now.
If in 2019 he spoke from a legal perspective, I'm not a lawyer, I wasn't his media aide then, I cannot speak about anything that happened in 2019.
So he spoke from a legal perspective and he was correct in the legal perspective that he spoke, right? Or you want to say your boss is wrong now?
I am not a lawyer.
No, but he was correct from what he said. Or you want to say your boss is wrong?
I have, first of all, First of all, Mr. Rufai, I have not seen the tweet to which you refer.
I'll catch it out for you.
I wasn't working with Keyamo in 2019.
I'll catch it out for you. You can go and check. It's 15/4/2019. And I read it out for you, and it's circulating everywhere. So are you saying your boss was wrong, what he said in 2019 as regards the Osun case scenario?
If he spoke, I do not understand the context in which he spoke in 2019.
The Osun case scenario.
However,
Osun case scenario.
When you want to, if you want to, juxtapose with what's going on at the moment, you also you are speaking as though forgery has been established by the
No,
court.
I'm not speaking as no.
If you spoke about forgery,
Achimogu, you're having ideas. Obviously, I'm not juxtaposing with anything happening now. If I wanted to juxtapose, Achimogu, I will set a precedent and I'll ask you a question based on what is happening now. I didn't juxtapose. I just want to affirm, like your boss said, that forgery occurs. Hang on a minute, let me finish. Let me finish. Achimogu, let me finish. I just want to affirm, and I just want you to look at it. Like your boss said, that forgery occurs when the issuing house or those that issued the document said they did not issue it. So are you saying your boss is lying, or you're saying your boss spoke from a legal point of view and it was correct? Yes or no? That's just all I'm asking.
I am saying that I have not seen the tweet you are speaking about.
Okay, it's
and
all right.
I do not understand the context in which
Thank you.
He spoke at the time.
All right, okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chimogu. Now, in terms of the next steps by the APC, since the Waziri Atiku Abubakar has filed, what are the next steps from the APC? We hear you, and the APC has berated his world press conference. Now he's gone to court. What would be the response from the APC? What's the general reaction from the APC?
Well, just like Atiku Abubakar has the constitutional right and duty to go to court, the APC also has a duty to respect the courts. And the next step is to wait for, the judgment from the Supreme Court. However, between now and when judgment will be delivered, our duty will be to counter every false information and narrative that's been put out there by opposition. It's normal what opposition is doing. Their job is to oppose. However, opposition must also be done, from a perspective of responsibility and fact and truth. I am here to counter every false narrative being put out by false news merchants, online, especially the PDP people.
Okay, let me assist you in one regard. Your boss, Festus Keyamo, that was just referred to, he has put a statement out there that the onus is on Waziri Atiku Abubakar and the PDP to prove that the issuing authority, has disowned the certificate that is in question. Because, as he pointed out, he who alleges must prove, which is a trite principle in law. And that's why the matter is now before the Supreme Court. I'm sure the Supreme Court, will listen to all the addresses and the responses and then take a decision in line with substantive law and their own procedures. However, the major issue with your boss is a case reported in Nigerian weekly law reports. I'm sure you say, well, you may not have read any weekly law report. But that case is Festus Keyamo versus House of Assembly, Lagos State, a 2002 case, in which Festus Keyamo was an appellant. And the main issue in that case was that your boss, Festus Keyamo, was in fact challenging his current principal's qualifications. And the question that is being asked is that at what point did he change his mind about President Tinubu's qualifications? Have you ever heard about this? That at some point, Keyamo, took that case to court. The same subject that everybody
I have heard about that.
Yes.
Yes, I have heard about that.
What do you have to say in his defense?
Just like in my case with my former principal, Atiku Abubakar, as well, you see, people are open to changing their perspective about issues, when new information becomes available. Keyamo himself has answered this question on several occasions. He did say that due to information available to him at a time, he went to court, But during the process, new information came to him and he realized that, perspective wasn't reality. And it's even the reason why that case came to nothing in the first place. And he was bold enough, Keyamo was bold enough, to admit that, errors had been made. He didn't have the full picture at the time he took the case to court. And now he has the full picture. A man has the right to change his mind. It is only people who are not honest and proactive that take a position and refuse to shift even when new information becomes available. And I don't think that's the right way for anybody to go.
Well, thank you very much, Michael Achimugu, for joining us on the morning show. And be sure, when next you have something to say, this platform is open, okay? We don't discriminate. It's an open platform to hear all sides of the story and to be fair and balanced. Thank you very much for joining us.
Well, you are welcome back from that discussion from Arise Television, and now we are well educated about the recent turn-up of events, just like we are saying here. So, but finally, we have, witnessed that Atiku has done the irreparable damage that was been, trying to be avoided by the president of Nigeria. So the damage has been done, and he has submitted the evidences he obtained from Chicago State University to the Supreme Court of Nigeria in addition. So having said that, let's listen to this presentation so that we have more insights about what is happening. Man, there is problem, but however, God will keep us alive to see how these things, will turn out to be. But another important fact is that if this case is not handled properly, it's going to affect a lot of things. Yes, the Supreme Court judges, they are aware, and the Nigerians are aware, the whole world is aware of it. So we are waiting to see what happens. We are waiting to see the outcome of that case and how it's going to go by. So let's listen to this and use it to cap it up. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please click on the subscription button, notification bell, and let's hear your view about this video. Don't forget to share it so that others will watch. Thank you as you do that.
The People's Democratic Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Atiku Abubakar, is insisting that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu submitted false documents to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Atiku, in a statement on Sunday, which is today, by his media aide, Paul Ibe, said the Nigerian president is only trying to push a false narrative to the public using the power of the media. According to him, the Chicago State University, through its registrar, Caleb Westberg, admitted under oath that the institution does not have a true and correct copy of the diploma issued to Bola Tinubu in 1979. Ibe added that Tinubu also presented a non-existing government college in Lagos certificate to INEC with a claim of graduating from the school in 1970 when the school itself was founded in 1974. The statement added that a certificate from another school in the United States that belongs to a female candidate was presented by Bola Tinubu. Furthermore, Atiku's aide claimed the president's NYSC certificate bears Bola Adekunle Tinubu, even when the CSU said under oath that the middle name of A was never interpreted in any document in his file, with Tinubu's handlers now attempting to introduce the middle name into the president's public documents. Ibe said it has become clear that Tinubu and his handlers are using one forgery to cover the other. According to him, the late lawyer and human rights fighter Aimiu would have succeeded in busting Tinubu but for the immunity he enjoyed as governor of Lagos State at the time. He said, and I quote, "Since Tuesday last week, when the deposition regarding President Bola Tinubu's educational qualifications came to the fore in the United States, There have been several attempts to twist the facts of the matter, which deliberately aims to confuse the mind of the public concerning the matter. Some media aides to the president have come out openly to push back on the narrative, while some media houses, especially one, have persistently slanted their story to justify a corrupted interpretation of the facts in the deposition. Sadly, however, the truth of the matter remains that Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu falsified a document he submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission and swore an affidavit on the road to back up his forgery. He went further to read that on page 26 of the deposition, which is publicly available, the registrar of the Chicago State University, Caleb Westberg, under oath, was asked a simple question, which is, CSU has determined that it does not have a true and correct copy of the diploma issued to Bola Tinubu in 1979, correct? And the registrar responded, that's correct. Also, on page 27, a similar question was put to Mr. Westberg. So CSU, after going through every diploma, was unable to find an authentic copy of any diploma that CSU issued to Tinubu in 1979. Is that correct? And the registrar in his response said, we did not find any diploma issued by CSU in 1979 to Mr. Tinubu. And coming straight to the specific issue of whether the CSU is aware of or in possession of the diploma that Tinubu submitted to INEC, to which Mr. Westberg simply said, correct, we are not aware of it. He went ahead to say, indeed, anyone who has taken time to do a thorough reading of the deposition will come to the unambiguous conclusion that the footprints of Tinubu's odyssey as far as the CSU documents are concerned is filled with profound forgeries and abuse of administrative due process. He went ahead to say that the president and his supporters and spin doctors will want to force the narrative of at least Tinubu graduated from the CSU down our throat, even when the narrative has no foothold in logic. The question remains, how does a candidate graduate from a university that you were never qualified for? According to information in the open, President Tinubu applied to the CSU with a pre-qualified 1970 certificate from Government College Lagos, whereas the school did not come into existence until 1974. Maybe this should make the president the first man ever to have an anticipatory certification from the school four clear years before the founding of the school. Another mystery is that in addition to the non-existing Government College Lagos certificate, Tinubu presented a certificate from another school in the United States that belongs to a female candidate and a Cambridge HSC of 1970, the same year he purportedly graduated from a secondary school in Nigeria. Long before the CSU discovery of last week, President Tinubu has had a history of forgery and perjury. In his Form CF-001, he filed ahead of his governorship election in 1999, Tinubu had claimed, albeit fraudulently, that he attended St. John's Primary School, Aroloya, Government College, Ibadan, and Chicago University as different from Chicago State University. The late lawyer, that is Ganifa Aimiu, and human rights icon Ganifa Aimiu as well, would have succeeded in busting him, but for the immunity he enjoyed as governor of Lagos State. President Tinubu must be a man of mystery. No wonder his supporters call him a don, called a distorter. He went ahead to say that it is our contention that at the heart of the forgery scandal against President Tinubu is a question of integrity and morality. If the president would not do what is honorable by resigning from office and saving the country an imminent embarrassment, at least his supporters should desist from telling shameful lies to confuse the public. Lastly, while supporters of the president are quick to reference his transcript from the Chicago State University as evidence of his studentship in the school, we are alarmed how his NYSC certificate bears Bola Adekunle Tinubu, even when the CSU said under oath that the middle name of A was never interpreted in any document in his file. Every Nigerian who has undergone the NYSC program understands that the names on the NYSC are never a creation of the candidate, but the official name that the student was officially known as from their tertiary institution. He went ahead to disclose that Tinubu was allegedly never known as Adekunle at CSU. Thus, the only way to understand how Adekunle was smuggled on his NYSC discharge certificate can only be explained as a forgery. Yet, his media aides will come to the open to make a shameful alternative fact. He stated further that it is more shameful that just when this whole scandal continues to unfold, the media handlers of the president have from nowhere smuggled a middle name of Adekunle into his Wikipedia account. The word Adekunle in Yoruba is a house filled with royalty, but in this instance we dare say it is a house filled with forgery. End quote. It is quite a long one there that Paul Ibe said in reference to his principle and against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. To talk about this, for us to extensively talk this out, because this story, this controversy, this certificate saga has been in the news for almost 2 months now, or a month and thereabout, and there have been updates on it. That's basically why we always talk about this particular conversation, because as of today, this particular story is breaking, where the fresh evidence is being presented, and Tinubu is also insisting that the documents were forged. I have joining me virtually.
Where the law say they are not sure he worked there, they've not come up to tell us he worked there. So the question now is that what you got from that school? Because they asked them, what they issued him, was that what he tendered to INEC? They said they don't know. They're not aware of that. The people now said they subletted to third party. I looked at that as very, very laughable. When I look at arguments of some of the partisan people, it makes me laugh. If you sublet something to a third party, now the third party must replicate exactly what the original certificate has as its contents. Subletting something to a third party does not give the third party unrestrained liberty to print whatever they have and put your name. This is VOP. You may have issue and say, okay, let me use one printer at Jibo to print or Somol to print out some documents for us. That document must reflect what original VOP certificate document has. That the benefit to third party does not give those in Somol printers the right to alter what VOP issued as a qualifying certificate or qualifying whatever for a worker here. If that person goes there to alter the content of that, he has committed forgery. The question in issue is that the president of Nigeria is alleged to have forged some documents, especially his certificates, and upgraded it to, like when he was campaigning, he was making mouth, he made so A's and this and that, a dean's list and this and that. That might be what he has, what things that are contained in what he forged, different from what he obtained from that university. And that was why Atiku wanted to know exactly what the school gave him, to know exactly whether it was the same thing he submitted to INEC. And now it has been proven to a very, very reasonable extent that what he submitted to INEC is not the same thing that what the school gave him. And we want to know whether a president can descend so low. A man is seen as the image of a nation, the embodiment of integrity, the embodiment of a mentorship of the whole upcoming generation, the modern current generation. Whether he can indulge in such nefarious, in such kind of belated activities. That is what is bothering the minds of Nigerians. Minds of unbiased Nigerians. Nigerians that is conscious of their integrity, conscious of their passport, conscious of their names, conscious of what the country represents within and outside Nigeria. Those in diaspora, those in Nigeria, aspiring Nigerians that want to live a genuine, sincere life. Not life shrouded in controversy, shrouded in fraud, shrouded in forgery, and you're telling us like live it like that. We don't want to live it like, because we have children at home. We have younger ones that are aspiring to become leaders of tomorrow. We don't want to create such a dangerous, disastrous precedent.
All right.
So the question now is that Atiku never went into, Tinubu knew the contents of that. Was why he posted affidavit that the reason that result will cause irreparable damage to him.
All right.
I graduated from University of Nigeria 2003. Anybody that wants to go there should go and file and get it. I'm not going to file any counter. I know my grade there. Okay. I don't want to say it on the air here. I finished for law school. We can file John Woketa, we will go to law school and file it and check it. I won't even reply you.
All right.
I can't even waste my time to reply you.
All right.
So the point is that Atiku has gotten what he wanted. I have filed action in court, seeking leave of the Supreme Court, to tender it as fresh evidence in compliance with the rules of 1985, Supreme Court rules. And he has served the lawyers to Tinubu and lawyers to APC. Let us allow the judiciary to look into that and tell us their own view on that. As to whether a course of action has risen, as for what transpired in Chicago, a course of action has risen. Even the other issue you said, because why people were interested. Nobody, for me, people were not interested in that Chicago issue or whatever before. It was when Tinubu now filed that appeal from the lower court.
Which is what I asked.
They are telling that to do irreparable damage will be done to his person. People that became interested.
The whetted people's curiosity.
Arouse that curiosity. What actually is a death certificate that this man is striving so hard to hide? Now his supporters are saying why good says he said the government was like Western. I mean, I don't know why you should make a human being to look like a teen god. Tinubu is not a teen god. He's like every one of us.